Back when the Digimon Pendulum Color released, I did a video in which I went through just about every detail of the new device and rambled on about it for an hour and a half. I figured a few people would enjoy it, but to my complete surprise, it was much more popular than I had anticipated. Apparently you all really like to see the nitty-gritty about what these LCD toys have to offer, so for the Digivice 25th Color Evolution, I've decided to do this once again, and probably will for new devices moving forward as well. This video certainly won't be as long, but I will be going over literally everything. If you'd prefer something shorter, I'll be doing an actual scripted review as well within a week or two of this one going live, so you can always wait for that. I'm also not going to be shying away from spoilers, as this is intended to give you as much information as possible, but for some of the hidden content and later story-related pieces, I'll at least give a heads up before I move on to those. Let's get right into it, starting with how one even acquires one of these devices. So I got mine from Japan, and I ordered it back when it first went up for pre-order. As often is with these devices, they are pre-order only, and so if you didn't get a pre-order in either through a proxy or through one of the various resellers that were also offering pre-orders, it is going to be more difficult to find one of these now. There may be a few pre-orders still out there, as there is a second batch of these devices that is being released, but overall, it's meant to be something that you order up front and not really find after the fact. It's annoying, I know, but that's just how these things go with Premium Bandai, and we've kind of learned to live with it regardless of the pain associated with it. So yeah, like I said, I got mine through a proxy. If you look around, you might be able to find some of these devices still for sale. You'll definitely be able to find them after the more of them release, but they will be for inflated prices, and that's, you know, how it goes. Even if people try to keep the price down, the cost of acquiring these will go up with time, so try to get yourself one as quickly as possible if you do want one. They do come in a few different colors, so I have here the anime original color, and this is what they basically look like in their default state in the show, and it's my personal favorite look for the original Digivice. I like the very pale blue they use with the blue buttons, with the blue text. As usual, I like blue. That's just how I am. But they do also come in orange and blue, like a much more deeper blue, a translucent one as well. Both the orange and blue are translucent. I'll show you the orange one later on here in this video. I don't have the blue one, didn't order it, didn't want it. Listen, I like blue, but I'm not going to get into why I don't like the colors of the blue Digivice. So those colors are also available. They of course represent Taichi and Yamato, the two main protagonists from Digimon Adventure, and those are their Digivice colors when they're activated, when they're evolving into their perfect and ultimate stages. So, but this is a default one. This is what all the kids have their Digivices look like in their normal state. There, of course, are 6 other chosen children in the show that each all have their own Digivice color as well, but there aren't going to be any additional colors for this as far as we know. But like I say, I like this color a lot. It's what I would have chosen no matter how many other colors they would have put out, just because I very much am a fan of the original look of the Digivice. So as far as release goes for these, this is another Japanese exclusive release, but there are ways to import it, of course, which is what I've done. And Premium Bandai US also had pre-orders for it. Bandai Shop UK is probably doing something with it, I don't know. Either way, you can get it in other places, and the nice thing is that it is all English text, so you do not have to know any Japanese to navigate in here. That being said, all the audio clips that play on this device, and we'll talk about the fact that there's audio clips in a moment here, all the audio clips are in Japanese only. They are not in English, and it is all using the original Japanese soundtrack when it plays music as well. So overall, that shouldn't be a hindrance to anyone playing. You may not know what they're saying, but that's no big deal, honestly. Having played through this in its entirety, it's, you know, it's not something that affects your actual experience. So let's talk about the device itself. As you see, we've got a few buttons right up front, and there are 4 in total on the front here. It may look like just 3, but the one on the left here is actually up and down, allowing us to go between various selections that there are. And we have an A button and a B button for confirming and canceling selections respectively. So pretty normal set of buttons there. It is nice to actually have up and down directions. Not all LCD toys of the Digimon variety have those. In fact, very few have those, believe it or not. So yeah, we got those buttons for getting around. We've got an antenna up here up top. And if you've played with previous Digivices like this, you may be expecting that the antenna will be able to detect radio waves like it could on those old models, but that is not the case here. The antenna is here just for show, doesn't actually have any function in the gameplay. A little unfortunate, would have loved for that to make a comeback because that was a pretty neat feature, but yeah, it's just there for decoration now at this point. We got prongs up top, of course, meaning that we can link to other devices, but the device selection is pretty small. If you have been paying attention to the Digital Monster Color and Digimon Pendulum Color, you know that those two devices can only connect with themselves and each other, and that continues on to the Digivice Color as well, where we can only connect to other devices with color in their name. So old Digivices, old virtual pets, none of that are going to work with this. Has to be another color virtual pet or color Digivice. Those are the only ones that can connect together for battling. We also have down bottom a little cover here covering up our USB-C port. This does use USB-C to charge, just like the Digital Monster Color and Digimon Pendulum Color. It comes with a cable, but you'll have to provide your own power source. They recommend using a computer, but any type of charging block that is outputting at 5 volts should do the job for this. So you should have plenty of those lying around your house, and yeah, no issues there, of course. There's also, you can't see them right now, but we'll see them as we get into it, right here, here, and here. There are 4 LED lights. These light up with different colors depending on what's happening on the device. And yeah, we'll take a closer look at those in a bit. And then around the back, we of course have a classic belt clip, so you can clip this onto your belt. This is meant to be something you attach and walk around with, because that is the primary method of interacting with this device, is by walking. So I have already put on my belt a few times, slides on and off, no problem. Good fit. Yeah, nothing really much more to say there. I haven't tried thinner bag straps yet, but we'll see how those do. It's got a little bit of space there, but it might be enough to go on a bag. But I know I tried my old Digivices on bags and they did not want to stay on very tightly, and I wasn't about to risk that. So I've been using belts only for them for a while now. So let's turn it on here. We can see the screen. When you turn it on, oh, Gomamon's talking to me. You see the LED lights popped up right there. Every time you turn on the device, your Digimon partner that you have selected right now is going to say something to you, and the lights are going to flash. And the color changes depending on which Digimon you have. So I've got Gomamon out right now, so the device will flash with those cyan lights that you saw there. Gomamon's color is actually gray as far as his crest is concerned in the show, but I guess gray LED didn't look as good as what they thought. So honestly, I'm fine. I like the cyan look better. So each Digimon will have different color lights for that, and they'll have different voice clips that they will greet you with. When you turn on the device for the first time, of course, you're going to have to set the clock, and you'll choose your initial partner. So you get to choose between one of the 7 original chosen children from the show, and when you select them, they don't appear on the screen at that point anymore, but the Digimon will. You will see the other chosen children as you go through the device, and we'll have a chance to look at them here in a bit too. But now, normally speaking, you're just looking at that one Digimon. So of course I chose Joe and Gomamon, Gomamon being one of my favorite Digimon from original Digimon Adventure, and it evolves into my favorite Digimon of all time. Look, there it is. And so yeah, that's who I went with first. But no matter who you choose, you're going to be able to swap between them whenever the heck you want. So there's no unlocking the original 7 partners in this one like there were on other older Digivices. You just have all 7 from the very beginning and can swap between them at any point. One thing I will say about the gameplay in general on this is that it is very focused on following the story of the original Digimon Adventure. So unlike the other devices that kind of vaguely went through events of the show, this follows it pretty darn to a T as to how it goes through. So all 7 children were there at the beginning of the series. All 7 of them are here. The only difference is that you get to choose which ones take place or take part in battles and which ones don't. There's not scripted battles where you have to choose a certain Digimon. So that is how that goes. So again, we got Gomamon up here, and once you're in there, you can start, and let's just, the screen, as you can see, dims. It turns off completely after 2 minutes and 20 seconds, the screen does, but it will still detect your steps when you're there. So of course, if we shake it, you'll see, there goes Gomamon. And one cool thing I like about this is the parallax scrolling effect that it has going. So there's the ground layer, the background layer, and a foreground layer even. So you can see as Gomamon walks, branches and stuff move by, and the background and the main part of the background, or the far background and the near background move at different rates, which is pretty darn neat. So the only annoying thing is that, of course, I have to keep shaking it to keep watching it. And while you're shaking it, you can't really see them move. So as cute as the animation is for this, and as they put in a good amount of effort to this, I was very surprised with how far they went for these backgrounds. You don't get a good look at them for the most part. Like, once you stop, you do, great. But yeah, that's it. So I found that pretty funny, but oh, come on, don't hide behind the tree. There you go. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Now we can see it again. So that's the main way of moving around in this, because the whole idea of this is that this is not a virtual pet like other LCD toys. That's a very important thing to get out of the way now, is that it's not a virtual pet. The Digivice line of toys have mostly been about following along somewhat with the various TV series that Digimon has had over the years, and kind of going on a journey with the Digimon from that series. So in this case, we're going through and we're following the path of the kids from Digimon Adventure and encountering battles and stuff along the way. So we didn't hatch Goemon. When you choose your first Digimon, it will be the Baby 2 form, but it will immediately evolve into its stage 3 form. So that is, yeah, if you were expecting it to be something you would raise and take care of, it's not the case. And then once they've evolved in their stage 3 form, they stay in that form for the duration of the entire game, except during battles, where during battles they can evolve to higher forms again, just like the show. If you've seen Digimon Adventure, you're going to be pretty familiar with how most of the stuff works on this device. It is still different from the other Digivices, and we'll get into that a little bit more later, but yeah, if you've seen the show, you know, they stay in this form most of the time, they evolve during battle, same deal here. That's the same case for Tailmon as well. Tailmon, of course, was a stage 4 Digimon when they first met it in the show, and it stays in its stage 4 form as well here. So we'll talk more about the partners here in a moment, but let's look at a few of the other features here, and sticking with the walking actually for the moment. So one thing I should note is that if I shake this very lightly, you'll see Goemon still goes on a walk, and that is because this is powered off of an accelerometer, not off of that clacking sound that you hear there. That the clacker is there just for show, just like most other modern Digimon pets, including the pendulum. There's an accelerometer to handle the actual counting of the steps. The clacking is just there because it makes you feel good, because you used to have these and they used to clack, so that's all there is. So walking, of course, has handled that. The walking is to get to the end of an area, and if we hit the B button here, we can see that it'll tell us how long we have to clear the area. So we have 195 steps to go, and if we hit it again, we're going to see the total number of steps that we have taken, which in this case is, whoa, how many? Goodness. Is that real? 188,838. Let's see. If I shake it one more time, and I'll show you why that is later, that I shook it one more time instead of multiple, but okay, no, that didn't even register. Let's do it enough to register. Come on. There we go. Now register. Accelerometers aren't always perfect, especially when you're trying to do manual shakes. Let's see, 40. Okay, so no, it's counting 5 at a time for that too. Okay, so we didn't actually walk that much. We have a cheat on, which comes with a baked-in cheat. We'll talk about that more later. So apart from walking, there are a few other interactions that you can do with your Digimon. So if we hit the down button here, this is going to initiate a camp where you can see they can enjoy a gigantic burger. There's a number of different items that you collect as you go through the game, and you can scroll through them by pressing the A button here, and that'll take you through a whole variety of them. In fact, there's even some more burgers up here that get bigger and bigger. Yeah, so there's a lot of fun little things there that you can go through, and if we hit down again, that'll take us to the sports section of the camp, where they're playing with wheels. Nope, they're playing with soccer balls now. So these don't do anything themselves. It's just all it is a little interaction, just a fun little animation to watch. And the items that you collect will all be visible in here. As you see, the campfire ignites the LEDs on the edge of the device as well. The chair looks very uncomfortable for Goemon, so we're going to swap that over to, let's see, yeah, cooler. That looks way better. So they're going to sleep on a cooler. And yeah, that's the camp. And while you're camping, if you hit the up button, you'll get a little close-up of your Digimon right there. The other Digimon that appears is just random, so if I back out and I hit the camp button again, now we have Tailmon there instead of Gabumon, enjoying that delicious, gigantic burger. How come there's only 2 slices of cheese, but 3 patties? Very interesting indeed. Pressing up from here is going to take you into the clock. It is a clock, and there is not anything else to say about that. I don't even know if you could set it, actually. I don't think you can. Like, once you set... Oh, no, never mind. It's in the settings. Duh. I don't know why I said that. Normally, you would set the clock from the clock screen, of course, in most LCD toys, but in this case, it's got its own setting for it. So you can't set it from the clock screen, but you can change it in the settings later on. If we hit the C button, which we have already done. Sorry. Let's try that again, shall we? If we hold the C button, there we go. We get a voice clip. In that case, he just shouted for Joe. I don't know if that's going to come through at all on here, so I'm not going to focus on letting you hear the voice clips. If you want to hear the voice clips, you'll have to get the device for yourself, or make a video for everyone else to enjoy of all the voice clips, because I'm not going to go through those. I don't find those to be a key part of enjoying this device. They're just cute and wonderful. I don't speak Japanese, so that's it. All right, moving on to the menus, we can access the menu by hitting the A button here, and our first section is Digimon. If we go to that and we go to Partner, we're going to be able to change which partner we are actively using. So we've already got Goemon selected, and we can see that the other Chosen Children's partners are here as well. There are a few unlockable partners, so heads up, I'm about to show those right now and talk about unlocking them. So if you don't want to see that, skip ahead in the video a little bit. I'll put a timestamp in there so you know. But yes, apart from the main 7 options that you have, we also, of course, have Tailmon that you meet later on in the game. You meet Tailmon in Tokyo, like it happens in the show, so no big surprise there. You also have Wizardmon, who Wizardmon is unlocked by just clearing the overall adventure itself. Once you defeat the final stage, then Wizardmon joins your party. And then we also have Veedramon, which will show up if you have cleared all the secret areas on the device. So yes, there are secret areas, and Veedramon was included on the original Digivice as well as an unlockable character, so it makes its return as a little homage to V-Tamer, so that's why it's here. It of course did not appear in Digimon Adventure, but did appear in V-Tamer, which was going on at the same time as Digimon Adventure, so that's why it shows up here, and it comes back. And that is all the characters you can get, so characters from like the version 15th and the version complete, such as Meikumon, Hackmon, and Zubamon aren't going to appear in here. This device is very much just based on the original Digimon Adventure. I probably already said that, I'll probably say it again. But so things that happened later on in the series, so like in Tri or in Kizuna, those are not going to appear in here. If you're expecting any Tri or Kizuna specific content, you're not going to find it in this device. So just keep that in mind. The other thing that we can do, and we're going to keep Gomamon as our partner for right now, is we can go check out evolutions, which are called Digivolutions here. So even though this is not localized or anything, this is mostly using Japanese terminology on this device. It does use Digivolution as the term for evolution on this. So I always think that's fun. It reminds me of in Digimon Adventure 02 when they're traveling the world and the other countries that they visit in the Japanese version all use the terminology that they use in their country. So in America, they call it Digivolution, and Mexico, they call it Digivolucion or whatever it is. So yeah, they've kept with that terminology here, which is neat. So this will show you which Digimon there are. So of course, all the babies are there, just the 7 though. So the 7 original partners, their babies show up in this. So we got Agumon, we got Greymon, we got Metal Greymon, all that stuff. So for each of these evolutions, you unlock them by winning battles. And as you win battles, a little meter will pop up, and we'll look at where that is in a moment. And that's what allows you to evolve higher. So it's not based on story in this case, it's just based on winning. And just a heads up, we're going to go down, and this might be a few more spoilers for some people, so I'm going to add another timestamp here for you to hop ahead to if you want. So we also do get Skull Greymon popping in here. We got War Greymon, we got Omegamon. This goes all the way to the original, well, not the original, but it includes Digimon Adventure, the short film. It includes Digimon Adventure, the series, and it includes our war game, the movie at the end. So that's why Omegamon pops up here, as one would expect. But as you can see, the Digimon that made an appearance in Digimon Adventure are here, but notably absent. So we have Garudamon, and it goes straight to Mochimon because Hoemon isn't in this, Heraclicobuteriamon isn't in this, Vikemon isn't in this. The evolutions that were used later on for the Chosen Children in Tri do not make an appearance in this device. It is just Adventure Digimon, and so not even Seraphimon and Holydramon appear here, despite appearing in one of the earlier movies. They're not, those forms aren't in here. It's only those that appeared in those 3 sets of media, so just the Digimon Adventure trilogy, I guess you can call it, the short, the movie, and the series. Those are the only evolutions that are going to pop up in this device. So a little bit disappointing, because that does mean that Agumon and Gabumon have an advantage. There is a meaningful reason to evolve higher on this, and so I found myself using Omegamon a lot in the later part of running this, because it just simply was better to just use Omegamon. It wasn't about which one I liked more at that point. It's just like, oh, this is more efficient to use Omegamon. So I was a little disappointed in that, but I get what they're going for. I don't necessarily agree with what they're going for, but I get what they're going for. All right, so popping out of that, here's the bond menu I was talking about. So as we see, Gomamon is currently max bond. It's yellow because yellow is for perfect, I guess. So that means Gomamon is able to reach Zudomon at that at evolution stage. So it'll fill up with red for, what is it, red or green? No, I think it's green for adult, yellow for perfect, and I think red for ultimate is what it was. So again, those are given to you by winning battles. For adults, every 1 battle contributes towards one of these little slots. For perfects, every 2 battles contribute, and then for ultimates, every 3 battles. No, 3? 4? think it's 4, actually. Yeah, every 4 battles contributes. So that's how that works. So just win a lot of battles, you'll be able to evolve. That's all there is to it. That is it for the partner menu. So the next thing is going to be friends, and this is also going to contain, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't call if you've watched the entirety of Digimon Adventure, this part's not spoilers at all. So if you want to really save yourself for seeing this with your own eyes, then sure. But here's what the friend menu does. Again, timestamp if you want to skip this. So the friend menu, if we go to it, this will let you unlock every single Digimon that was encountered in Digimon Adventure, at least the stage 3 forms and up. And I think it's every single one. I don't think there's any missing from this. There might be. There's probably 1 or 2, right? There's no way they got them all. But at the very least, it's the majority of them for sure. Like, so we got Mojimon, we got friggin', look at all these guys. There's a whole bunch. We even got Greymon from the Coliseum, that one random Greymon they fought that one time. We passed it. There he goes. Yeah, it's there too, even though we've already got a Greymon to work with. So yeah, they're all here, which is pretty neat. And what we can do is, if we find one we like, which I really like, Sneemon. So we're gonna go to Sneemon, and I would choose Parrotmon honestly, but Parrotmon's sprite's terrible. So yeah, there it is. So find one we like, hit the button, got a little star on it. So that's going to be our designated friend, and what that does for us is it allows that friend to assist us in battle. There's a random chance that they'll come to our aid in battle and add an extra point of damage to the enemy. The other partners can also do that. There's a lower chance that another partner will help you out, which deals more damage. But if a friend comes in, they deal 1 damage. If a partner comes in, they deal 2 or 3 damage. There's also a traveling companion feature in this where some partners will join you, and we'll see that in action here in a little bit. And when they join you, they have a 100% chance of helping you. But if you don't have a travel companion, then you may get a friend to help you out, like Sneemon here. So we'll probably see that as well. So that's all you do with the friends. You unlock friends as you go through. At the first time you either have an event with a Digimon or do a battle against a Digimon, it immediately becomes your friend. And I just have to say, it's pretty hilarious to, defeat something like Devimon, and it's immediately like, he's your friend now. And oh, okay, sure. He definitely was just trying to kill us, but that's fine. So yes, there's basically every Digimon that appears, no matter how evil, is capable of being your friend. Isn't that the true message Digimon Adventure wanted to share with us? So that's the Digimon menu. Next menu is where most of the interactions are going to take place, and that's the map. So as we can see, we are currently on File Island, and again, technically story spoilers here, but it was released in 1999. You've already watched it. There's no story spoilers here. So we've got File Island. We've got File Island after it's broken apart by Devimon. We've got the Server Continent where they do battle with Edamon. We've got Tokyo where they follow Vamdemon into the real world to stop him from killing the 8th chosen child. We've got Spiral Mountain where the Dark Masters have corrupted the digital world. And we have Subspace where Pokemon hangs out and eats pizza. And we, of course, have the Network where very stylistic, amazing looking movie takes place. Well, can I just say, I wish they did it in this, but they didn't. I wish they would have given Diablamon the red outline that he has in the movie, because I love that style flourish. It's such a cool thing. They use it in Summer Wars too. I think they even use it in Bell, and it's just so cool. If you haven't seen Summer Wars or Bell, by the way, go see those. I love all of Hosada? I can't remember for sure, but I love all of his films. I've watched like almost all of them at this point. So really good. Either way, so yeah, those are all the areas. When you go into an area, you've got all the locations, and each of these locations does in fact correspond with an episode of the show. So we have Tropical Jungle, which this covers the first 2 episodes, because we'll see that we've got an event going on there, and they do battle with Kuwagamon, they travel for a little bit, and then they meet up with Shellmon and do battle with that. So the locations very, very much closely follow the show. There's only 1 episode in the whole show that isn't included, and that's the one where Taichi and Agumon briefly go back to the real world after defeating Edamon. So it wasn't a really good way to represent that, and yeah, that makes sense. So the rest of them are all here though, which is pretty flippin' neat. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the cooler things about the device, is just how thoroughly it does go through Digimon Adventure, and I really love that. No other Digivice has been this close to what happens in the show. They're all kind of just a vague idea of it, but this truly is following that. You could play this along with watching the show, which is, I just think that's great. So within the areas, you saw already that there are different types of areas. So we have events, we have battles, we have bosses, and we have secrets. So events, this is what we're in right now. All this will do, and we'll shake this a little bit to get forward to the event. And let's zoom out ever so slightly and move you out of the way. And just give this a shot here. So if we pick this device and get to the end of the area, then what's going to happen is we'll have a brief little interaction. And now, I will say, as much as I love the whole going through the whole map and everything, this is kind of the low point of map traversing, is the event spaces, because they don't really have a lot on offer. You would think maybe it would kind of show you a scene from the show, or at least recreate it in some way, but not so. Instead, it's a random, well, not random, they are predetermined based on what Digimon you have, but depending on which Digimon you're currently using, one of the other chosen children, you run into them. So there's Takeru. Hi, Takeru. And it plays a little song, you have an interaction, sometimes they're just enjoying life and talking to each other, sometimes there's like this whole thing where they're dreading what's coming up, or sometimes the Digimon get into a fight with each other. Not a proper battle where you actually battle or anything, but they just are angry and one of the children clears it up, so... but they feel like a waste of time. That's literally all it is. That's all that happens. And it's like, what was that for? Well, that could have been another battle. And the funny thing is it actually is another battle. Here we go. So we're getting an item right now. Let's, this is what happens at the end of an event. Sometimes you get an item. Perfect. We got the public phone item. So this item allows us to have a travel companion with us. And that travel companion will be a random other chosen child. So we're going to move forward to the Piyomon event here. And so we have Taichi and Agumon hanging out with us now. And so it could have been anyone. It's just randomly assigned each time that you get the public phone. And what will happen is they'll join you until after your next battle. So I chose an event square, but here's the thing about events, and we'll shake this a bit here, is that when you have an event space, again, normally it's just another partner and there's not much more to it. You may get an item or unlock a secret at the end of it. But when you have a travel companion with you, so the game doesn't really have another set of tables to look up based on which combination of partners you have. So instead of trying to do all that, they just give you a battle instead. So once we get to the end of this, you'll see that. And again, I do have, it's not technically a cheat since it's built in and is an option you can choose, but even though this is a 500 step area, it will only take me, what is it? Yeah, 100 shakes to actually get through the area because I've got a 5 times step counter on right now. And I'll show you that setting here in a bit, but it does make it easier to go through the device. It makes it faster. Even with it on, this device still takes you through a lot, so we'll talk about that more in a moment. But yeah, so there you go. So we have a battle with Numemon, and here's a good chance to talk about battles. So, in fact, I'm going to actually keep the stand away for right now. We're not going to switch over to that because we may need a shake or something. So we've got a battle with Numemon. We didn't encounter Piyomon since we have a travel companion. And so we're going to initiate the battle. Hey. It's telling us the type of battle we're doing this time is shaking. So I have to shake the device in order to be successful in this battle. And that shaking is going to happen when the 2 attacks from both sides come together in the middle of the screen. We shake the crap out of it. And as long as we shake enough times, then we'll be successful and land a hit. So we'll get into this. We can choose our evolution. And obviously we've got Zudomon. Why would we not choose Zudomon? So then we have the whole evolution sequence will occur. And the nice thing is that it is just basically straight recreated from the show, so but in little pixel format, which is honestly really, really cute. Now, obviously, you're not going to watch this every time. You're going to skip it much of the time, but it's very neat. I know it's you probably can't hear it on here right now because that's just how this is. But it's playing Braveheart, does all the music, and it's very, very reminiscent of the show. So they even do this whole 3D effect. It's not technically 3D; it's just a bunch of sprites, but 3D effect for the evolution into Perfect. So here we have Ikakumon evolving further into Zudomon, and the device lights up to account for it and everything. It's just a very cool, neat touch. And this is where it really brings in the flair that the CSA devices have in terms of their presentation and aesthetic. If you're not familiar with the CSA devices, we'll talk more about those in a bit as well. But yeah, so we got Zudomon. Zudomon's going to send an attack out. Both Digimon have 5 HP. And the goal is, of course, for one side to get their HP dropped down to 0. And whoever still remains is the winner. So Numemon's going to attack me back. Unfortunately, enemies don't call out their attacks. But that's alright. So we have to shake now when the 2 attacks meet in the middle. And as long as we shook enough, which we did, our attack breaks through and hits them. So because we're 1 stage higher than Numemon, we do 3 damage instead of 2. But then Taichi steps in and brings out the big guns. We've got War Greymon coming in here. Partners will use whatever their highest available form is for a battle. So Wargreymon sends out the Gaia Force there and finishes Numemon off. So battles can end up going pretty quickly. Usually they will never last more than 3 rounds because at the minimum you deal 2 damage. No, 3 rounds? No. I guess it'd last 5. So it takes no more than 3 hits to kill the other side, I guess is what I meant to say there. Hey, look, we got another item. So this item here is going to be another public phone. So cool. I was hoping to show off Sneemon next, but that's all right. We don't need to, I guess. So that's battles. We're going to show you now what happens when you lose one of these, right? So let's pop in. We'll go back to that Kuwagamon battle because that sounds like fun. So now we have Yamato and Gabumon with us, and we'll shake the heck out of this. So when you win battles, you can either win an item. So all those different items I showed you at the camp, those were all unlocked by winning battles or clearing events. You can get the public phone, you can get the Digimon Analyzer, which we'll show at some point once we find it. They are random, that's the thing, is outcomes or battles are random. You don't necessarily get something every time, and what you do get, when you do get it, is randomized. In addition to items, though, there's also secret areas that can be unlocked randomly at the end of battles, and they can take a while to unlock sometimes. Sometimes you'll get them like right away when you enter an area. Other times, like I literally had to do a couple areas like over 20 times each before it actually unlocked, and I just went through each of the areas several times until something happened. There's probably some number of odds for each individual area as for how likely it is to unlock a secret, but so far from what I've seen, it's just if there's a location that it's hard to unlock it in, and all the areas of that location are hard to unlock it in. So it's just a matter of doing it over and over again until you get it. So we have Kuwagamon this time to fight, and instead of shaking, we're going to have mashing as our actions. We just have to mash the A button up here. And as a note, the edge of it, this is where you want to go for. You don't want to go right in the middle. You want to go for the edge of it. Some of the mash fights are legitimately difficult. They ask you to press a certain number of times. They don't tell you how many times, but there is a certain number of times you have to press to be successful, and some of those numbers are hard to hit. There's a few battles in particular that you will discover as you go through this. But we're going to actually fail on purpose on this one, so let's just stick with Gomamon in this case. And if you don't evolve, it doesn't play Braveheart. Instead, you get the standard conflict theme, which is pretty cool. There he goes, Marching Fishes, the classic. Kuwagamon will now attack, so I'll show a successful hit first. So we mash enough times. Again, notice I'm using the edge of the button. We are successful. It goes through. And then we'll see if Gabumon might actually kill it. We'll see. Because it's going to turn into... regardless of what evolution stage it sends out at, it can do 2 or 3 damage, and that is randomized. So this might do 3, this might do 2. Let's see what it does. It did a full 3, so we're not showing off losing this time. But that's fine, because we still have one more battle type to display. Let's see if we get an item, first of all. Clear. Hooray. Alright, we did get an item. Give me the analyzer, please. Heck yeah. Alright, we gotta show off the other item. So this is the Digimon Analyzer, otherwise known as Koshiro's laptop. And what this does is now we're going to go to the lake area, and we'll see that any stage or any area that we want to do has a 0 for the step requirement. I don't think I explained this fully before, but it's also kind of obvious, is that when you're in an area, the number displayed here is the number of steps it takes to get to the end of that area. So if you have an area that says 300 steps, you have to shake it 300 times, or if you have to cheat on less than 300 times, and that'll get you to the event or battle at the end of that area. So we got the Digimon Analyzer, though. That reduces the next area you choose all the way down to 0. So if we click on it, that's just going to take us immediately into the battle against Monochromon in this case. Monochromon's battle type here is Follow. So it's going to show us which buttons to press. And we're going to go ahead and stick with Gomamon for this. And I'll again demonstrate one time successful. Monochromon is going to shoot out his big horn or whatever. There it goes. Alright, it's up. Yeah, there we go. So as long as you hit the correct combination there, and it's going to either ask you to do it 4 or 5 times. That was just a 4. And as long as you hit it, it's going to be successful. Darn it. We didn't get Sneemon out of that battle. Alright, that's fine. So sometimes, even if you don't have the travel companion, your friend, as I mentioned earlier, will pop up and shoot a shot over as well, but we didn't get to see that in this one, unfortunately. Partners also have a chance to do it. Here, I'll hit one time for you. There you go. Partners also have a chance to do it. It's a smaller chance than the friend when there's not a travel companion. Travel companions do it every single time, but otherwise it's just going to be a 50 chance for a friend or a 20% chance for a partner to assist during an attack in battle. Some of the battles I've gone without ever seeing an assist, and some I see that every time, so it just very much depends. So this should be the hit that finishes off Gomamon, so we will lose the battle. But the good thing is that there's not really much consequence for losing a battle. I guess it's kind of good news, right? So once you lose it, all you need to do is pop into your menu and go down to the recover option, and there you go. That's it. So as I mentioned as well, when it comes to our map, let's go back to the map screen here, and let's put our stand back in play. Zoom back in, adjust focus. Alrighty, so the other types of areas I mentioned, so we have the boss. In order to move forward to a new location, you do have to defeat the boss, and all the areas take place sequentially. There's no hopping around, going out of order. It's just a straight line to be able to go from area to area. So you clear 1, 2, 3, and then 4 is a boss. There's not the same number of areas for each location. Some of them have 13, some of them have 3. It just depends. In fact, there's even one with just 1. But you also see there's a secret area. So as you do battles and events within a specific location, you may randomly get the secret area unlocked. And it is random. There's not a surefire way to get it. You just have to kind of luck out and get it. And then once you have it, there's 1,000 steps in that area, and it will lead to a battle with another Digimon. Generally speaking, a Digimon not normally found in that location. So here we have Andromon, which of course doesn't show up for a few episodes. Pops up early if you have the secret area. And if you do meet a Digimon in a secret area and defeat it in battle, it will join you as a friend at that point. So you could potentially get Andromon early by defeating it in the secret area instead of waiting until the Factorial Town to get it. Alright, so I think that is about it as far as navigating locations goes. So there's, like I said, there's one, there's every episode is covered in here in some way or another, so there's a whole lot to go through, which is pretty darn great. I do love that. So let's move on to the next option we have. So the next option we have is Link, which, as the name suggests, allows us to link to another device. As I said before, this will only link to other color devices. So I've got the Digimon Pendulum color over here to test this link functionality with. So we're going to go into battle over here, and we're going to be able to go to connect, and we'll choose to battle with Digimon. Here we'll battle versus others. And so we confirm on both. Oh, forgot we need to select which Digimon we want. We'll do Zudomon versus Zudomon, of course. And so we do our connection here. And there we go. We do hit the button on just one device, and now they will go through and do a classic Digital Monster style battle where the first 3 hits mean nothing, and whoever dodges the last hit is declared the winner. So here they go. There's hit number 3, and the winner will be Zudomon from the Digivice took it. A shame. Now, I do know there's some people who are saying that they think there might be an advantage with this. As far as I can tell, there's not. And this is actually, I think my Pendulum has won the other battles against other Digimon on this, so there's not an advantage one way or the other. They're using the same battle system and the same type of parameters, so it's just maybe there's a possibility that Zudomon on this is stronger than this Zudomon. That's a possibility, but overall, if you're using the strongest Digimon in this against the strongest Digimon in this, you're going to have equal footing between the two of them. So that is a link battle, so only Digital Monster color, Digimon Pendulum color, and other Digivice colors. No other types of device will work with this. So the next thing we come to is going to be play mode. And the play mode option, this is where the CSA influences really come in. So now to actually explain what CSA is, right? That stands for Complete Selection Animation. And that was a series of Digivice toys that were focused mostly on recreating the look and feel of the devices from the shows as accurately as possible, while adding things like lights and voice clips. This device, of course, has lights and voice clips, and when it first got revealed, basically the immediate reaction was that, like, oh, this is like a classic Digivice toy paired with a CSA device, because classic Digivice toys didn't have voice clips and lights. This does. It also has the gameplay, so CSA devices didn't have any form of gameplay. There's some like mini games on the D3S CSA, but that's about it. So this is kind of the middle ground between them. So if we go to the play mode setting, In here, we can go through and we can, for example, watch Digivolution sequences. If we click on Agumon here, then it's going to show us that initial evolution sequence where it goes from Koromon to Agumon, and we can just rewatch this at any time we want. Don't even have to be in battle. And it yells Koromon Shinka and does the whole shebang, and there we go. That's all there is to it. So that's a fun little thing it has. In addition to that, if we go down, we have sound, and here we can choose any of the partners, and you'll see it lights up and starts talking. When we come in here and choose one of these, it's going to let us listen to various sounds that they have on the device. So Pyokomon Shinka, Piomon, Magical Fire, there you go. So it just plays through a whole bunch of different sound clips between Sora and Piomon. And if I press the A button up here, there we go. It'll also let us, while we're listening to those clips, play background music. So we can listen to Butterfly, and then we can still listen to the sound effects while that's going on. And we can swap between them. We got Braveheart, we got different Butterfly, we got the conflict theme, and then back to Butterfly. So there's 4 songs to play through on this. There is one, well, there's several other songs. There's one more like main song from the show on this device that you'll encounter randomly during a digital crisis. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But and if we hold this down, that's going to let us pause the music altogether instead of just cycling between it. So that's the sound options. And then we also have the ending. So if you've cleared the game, you can hit this to watch the ending cutscene again, but we're not going to do that here, of course, because that's definitely a spoiler. While we're talking about sounds, one thing I should mention is that on the main screen, you'll notice that mine is silent right now, or you may not, depending on how it picks up with the mic. Again, I'm not trying to play the music necessarily 100% accurately through this. I apologize, but that's not the point of this. But if I hold down this button, then Butterfly starts playing. And that's neat and all, but that's going to be the first thing you want to do is when you get this device is do this, because as nice as that is, you don't want that playing constantly while you're using it. So yeah, that's how you turn it off. You just hold down the A button and you're set, you're all done. So that leads us to the last, oops, I went to clock instead. That leads us to the last item in the menu, well, second to last, I guess. We also have power off, but our settings. So here you can adjust sound volume between several different steps. I guess I could turn it up for this, huh? I don't know if that'll come over any better, but we'll see. We can adjust the display brightness between several steps. I'm gonna keep it on. It kind of looks better that way. I'm not getting the weird flickiness. I'm gonna keep it on that. Why not? And then we got the LEDs. We can turn LEDs on or off. In fact, I'll show you what. There we go. So off. There we go. On. Very nice. They light up as notifications. There's several types of notifications. Screen turns on, plays sounds, vibrates, and shines the LEDs at you. So you really know when something's happening on this device. But yeah, there is a haptic sensor in this, so that if you wanted to turn it off, you could. But it's honestly great. I love having a vibration feature on a Digivice, and I think every virtual pet should have one. I know a lot of people have thought that for a long while, but having one on LCD toy is great. Love it. Put it on an actual virtual pet, please. All right, so then we got clock setting. You can change the clock. I'm not going to go through that. Step speed. So this is a cheat I was talking about. So you can have step speed times 5 turned on or off. If you are planning on going long walks, then probably better to turn this off. But if you're just sitting there at your desk shaking, then this will make it a little bit more of a tolerable experience overall. So you can turn that on or off. I am leaving mine on for the sake of demonstrating everything, of course. And then we can also factory reset, which no, we're not going to do that right now. And then as a separate menu item, we also have power off. There's not an actual way to power down the device outside of this. You can reset it using the button on the back, but if you want to actually turn it off, you need to go in the menu, go to power off, and that will shut it down. It'll save your game as well, so anything that you did will remain as it is. It auto-saves too, so you don't have to worry about losing progress. Pretty much any major event that happens as you're going through it, like whether it be a battle or getting an item or whatever it may be, it's saved. Like I ran out of battery at some point, and I was in the middle of a battle when I ran out of battery, and so when it came back on, I was back at the start of that battle. I didn't have to walk up to it again. I didn't have to shake it anymore. I was just still at that battle when I charged the device. So it does save, so nothing to worry about there. Okay, so let's move on to some comparisons. So this, of course, is most similar to the other Digivice toys that have come out over the years, and I have over here a Digivice version 15th. As you can see, this is the translucent one. This is the main color in which it came in, and I do like that translucent look. I always have. It does look great, but you will notice that this does look, just in general, more accurate to the way it looked in the show. So I definitely point for that, but I do still like that original look as well. And then, of course, obviously the screen color is a major difference. Buttons and everything are the same. Like I said, the antenna is actually capable of doing stuff on this device, which is neat. But same gameplay for both. You shake them, they walk, they encounter battles and such. There is no there's far fewer features on this in general, but the version 15th and the version complete as well. Which let me get the version complete here and I'll show what that looks like too. They do have more options available for evolution, so they follow Tri and Kizuna, and since they follow those two, they do have, and I'm not going to take the complete out of the box right now because I don't want to, but you can see the complete looks pretty similar to the Digivice color. Same general colors. Obviously, this is a square screen, that's a round screen, and this is black and white, and that's color, but overall, pretty darn similar to one another. The complete is not any different from the version 15th as far as functionality and all that goes. It just has more Digimon in it. But the actual general gameplay is the same, and there's like an extra area for Kizuna, but otherwise they're basically the same exact device, same shell and everything, just differently colored. And oh yes, hi Gomamon. My gosh, you're loud when you turn up the volume. So the prongs obviously do fit, but they are not compatible to fight each other. But yeah, so overall, I do think that there are a few missteps from this compared to what this was. So for example, one of my biggest grievances is that when you clear an area on this, you don't proceed to the next one automatically. You have to select it on the map, which I don't know why, because you're there, you're looking at it, you defeated it, you obviously know what you can watch what's going to happen next. It should just put you in the next area, as far as I'm concerned, instead of making you click on the map, click on the location, and then click on the area. It doesn't even like auto select the next area that there is. You have to go and find it. So if you were about to do area 13, you have to get there from area 1 and use the buttons to navigate to that. Actually, it wouldn't be so bad because you can hit up to cycle back, but either way, still annoying. Whereas this, when you clear an area, it just takes you right in the next one automatically, which is much, much nicer. So, but overall, I think the features on this make this the better device for sure. It's not just about the color either. It's everything. The whole making it much more about following the show to a much more extreme degree is just a ton of fun. Like, these are fine distractions, but this is more of an experience that you'd want to sit there and really play through in a few sittings. So, and this gave me, what was it, about 15 hours, I think, to complete the main story, and then a few more to get all the secrets and stuff. And I also did a lot of research farming, and that took considerably longer, but I'd say there's probably a good about 15 hours of stuff to do in this, which is pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I'd probably say there's probably a good number of hours in this too, but that's also because it kind of wastes your time with the number of steps and everything. Even without the cheat on, this takes fewer steps to get through the various areas, so I do like that. So overall, this is the more comfortable experience compared to this, but there's good things on this still, including the extra evolutions and just more Digimon available in general, but everything else on this kind of blows it out of the water. So we'll also compare against the orange version 1 I have over here. This is the US release, and I don't have batteries in this one right now. I didn't want to put it. This one's only 3 buttons, by the way. This is not an up and down. This is just 1 button over here. And this antenna doesn't do anything either. And the US version, for the longest time, I thought it was inferior to the Japanese version just because it has a smaller screen, but ultimately it's actually really nice because it's got like these other mini games in it, like the slot machine and this card game that you would play, and that allows you to go through areas more quickly. So there's a lot to love about the US version, and this of course was the basis for all the other international versions as well. But again, this still has way more features and just is more interesting in general, so this beats that out for sure. So as far as Digivices go, yeah, I'd say this is easily the best Digivice they've made for quite a while. I mean, probably ever. Excluding the IC, of course. The IC doesn't count as a Digivice. It is a Digivice. It does count as a Digivice, but it is also a virtual pet, which this is not, which makes the IC immediately more enjoyable to me. But that, of course, brings me to the next thing is, what about this compared to other virtual pets? Or actual virtual pets, I should say. So the Digital Monster Color and Digimon Pendulum Color both being the most recent releases and also bearing the color moniker. That one's not on, so I'm not even going to show that off, but the experience is just entirely different. So you can't really compare them. 2 different types of things entirely. This is going through areas and clearing battles, whereas this is going through raising a Digimon from start to finish, from a baby up to an ultimate, and watching it grow. And there's additional things on here that weren't on the original Pendulum, such as additional evolution forms, which is really cool. And overall, you're sitting with this at your side throughout the day and really taking care of it and everything, whereas this is something you don't just have near you. You interact with it when you want to, whereas this, it tells you when it's time to interact and you do it then. So this is more of a passive experience, this is more of an active experience, and that's what I've always liked about virtual pets, is that passive experience and just kind of interacting with it little bit by little bit throughout the day and watching it grow into new things. But there's nothing happening in the background on this. I should say there is a thing called a digital crisis, I didn't cover that earlier, where randomly throughout the day, Bolero, the song from Digimon Adventure and other things, starts playing, and you have to shake it 100 times, and if you shake it 100 times, then you get a battle at that point. But that's fine, but it's not like, you know, constantly feeding and training your Digimon and making sure that they don't die. So like, these don't die, of course. There's no pet aspect, so there's no death, and I think that's makes them less interesting an experience to me. It's certainly, these kill this entirely in replayability. Like, you get to the end of a run on this and you're like, okay, let's start up another Digimon and play some more, and you'd be running this thing for months to experience everything on it, and that's just kind of the experience you go through. And then even after that, it's like, well, it's still fun to raise another Digimon. Here, once you clear everything, like I have, it's I don't know, what else do you do? Do you just do a factory reset and then do it all again? And if you do, why? Because everything's unlocked and still accessible. It's the fun of unlocking again, I guess. But I personally, I don't see that as something I would do. In my youth, I definitely would have. In my youth, I would have reset my Digivices and started over from the beginning. But as an adult, it's like, I don't think I'd do that. Whereas with this, it's like there's a good reason to, and it's because the raising experience is different every single time. So I'm very biased. I very much like virtual pets more than I like Digivices, but I do still think this is fun. But if you are looking for a more engaging experience, a virtual pet is going to give you more of that. But if you're a big fan of Digimon Adventure, there's really no reason not to go for this too. So I think it very much is just about what you want to get out of it. If you want to have that nostalgia rush and kind of go through the story, because this is a good recreation of the story. It's very neat. I think this, if you're a fan of Adventure, definitely get it. If you're not a fan of Adventure, I don't know if this is going to be for you. I don't know if there's really a lot to it that would be for someone who's never watched Digimon Adventure, so I don't know. And then the last comparison we'll make here is going to be with the Vital Bracelet. Grab it. There we go. It's on the charger there. So, hopefully this shows up okay on camera. Yeah, that's not so bad. So, how are you working? You were standing still. Somehow my Zudomon is working out, despite the fact that it was just sitting there before when I took it out. So, one thing you'll notice right away is the screen size differences. So this is a 160 by 80 screen, I think it is, whereas I believe this is, I think it's a solid 128 by, no, it's got to be bigger than that, because that's a, I don't know, I don't remember what the size is, but yeah, the round screen, rectangle screen, yada yada. If there's stats you want to know, go look them up. But between the two of these, they actually do have a lot of similar ideas. It's not just sprites that they share, but, you know, the idea that your Digimon will walk with you as you go through things. But obviously this is also raising, and this is not raising. And between the two of them, you would think I'd want to pick the one that has the more raising experience with it, but ultimately, I don't know. It's a toss-up for me, because I think this is still more, I'd probably say this is a little bit, I don't know. It's more interesting of an overall experience. I think there's more to kind of do on it, but the Vital Bracelet, it's a very light virtual pet overall. There's not a lot of, even as little interactions as you get with the virtual pet, the Vital Bracelet has even fewer, but there are also a lot of Digimon to go through, and the raising experience does still have variety in it, so I think there's more replayability on this, but the overall experience on this, I find, on the Digivice, I find more enjoyable. So, yeah, I don't know. Vital Bracelet's not really my thing. You know that about me. Digivice, not super my thing either. Hard to compare the two, and neither of them are something I super am into in general. That being said, I'm probably going to get more of these Digivices as they come out, and that is, of course, brings up the next point, is what else is going to come out for Digivices in the future. And I think the most obvious choice, of course, is that they're going to have the D3 given the color treatment as well. I've got the version 15th D3 right here, and I think that's kind of the no-brainer move that Bandai is going to pull, because this Digivice, the color here, was wildly successful. They sold out of the first pre-order and opened up another pre-order for it, so that's always a good sign when it comes to Digimon products if the pre-order period on Bandai does sell out. So I don't think there's a chance that they wouldn't release the D3 in color as well. So what that'll look like I'm interested in, because the D3 was famous for having a ton of different Digimon on it, and that was because of all the armor evolutions, but those armor evolutions, most of them don't show up in the show, and neither do the final forms of the main most of the main characters. Well, I guess just 2 of them? I don't know. Either way, so I'm wondering if they're going to go the same route with this and only include Digimon that actually appeared in the show and the 2 movies that were associated with Year 2, or if they're going to include everything that was on the original Digivice, but really hard to say. Like, technically this includes almost everything from the original. No, this does. Everything from the original version of the Japanese Digivice is on here, because Tailmon wasn't unlockable on that one, and everything could only evolve up to perfect. So yeah, it's all there. So maybe there's a chance, but if they go the route of really wanting to stick to the show, I can see them skipping out on all that extra stuff. So, but yeah, I think next year we'll get an announcement about this, probably around February or March time, maybe even April, I don't know. At some point, we'll get an announcement about 02's new Digivice color D3, which is neat. And yeah, I don't know. Again, that's just speculation, but I think it's a pretty safe bet to take. And that really is going to do it as far as talking about this device. I have rambled on certainly long enough at this point and have to get to editing all this information, of course. So hopefully this was informative. Hopefully you learned a lot. If you are still unsure about anything with this device, do make sure to check out the manual at digitamahatchery.com. It is full and up and complete. It'll tell you everything you need to know about raising this thing. Well, not raising it, but playing with it. So do make sure to check that out. Give it a read, and it'll help you understand the mechanics behind the device. If you are not sure about whether you want this device or not going into this, hopefully now you have a better idea. And if you don't, I'll have a review out, but my review is going to be mostly a condensed version of this, so I don't know if that's going to help you, but I'll give a few more opinions on it. I gave a few opinions throughout this, but mostly I just wanted to put out the details more than anything. So yeah, so if you want to talk more about this device, do make sure to check out the Discord server, where we have an Anime Digivices channel that you can go to and talk about this and any other of the Anime Digivices that you like. But that is going to do it for now, so until next time, bye!